What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today I'll be showing you 11 tips and tricks for the AirPods Pro that you need to know. So whether you just got your AirPods Pro for Christmas or if you've had them for a while, you're probably going to find something you didn't know you could do in this video. Now if you missed my first things to do after getting the AirPods Pro video, make sure to watch that one as well for some more basic tips. It's going to be linked up in the cards and in the description down below. Before we get into all of that, I wanted to quickly thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. So Squarespace is an all-in-one platform where you can easily build professional looking websites thanks to their huge collection of templates to choose from. So whether you want to start an e-commerce store, a portfolio site, or just a blog, they've got you covered. They also have a great set of marketing tools and analytics on the back end for you to use as well. You can learn more and get started with a discount by clicking on the link down in the description below. All right, so now for the tips. The first tip is to make sure you're listening to your AirPods Pro at a healthy volume, and you can check this inside of the health application. So if you go ahead into our health app, you will see we have this right here. Now, if you go to show all health data, that's where you will see headphone audio levels. And if you go ahead and click on this, this is going to show a chart of the decibel level that you're listening to your AirPods Pro in. And it's basically going to tell you, if it's a healthy volume. And you can read down here for some more as well. And since that chart is pretty empty, I'm going to show you how it looks on my iPhone 11 Pro Max, where I use these a lot more. So I can show you over the months. You can see those are the levels, and yours is going to look a little bit different, obviously, depending on the audio level, the volume that you listen to your AirPods Pro at. But overall, you can see my exposure to that sound is okay. It's not too loud. It's not damaging my ears for the long run or anything like that. So you can really see a lot in here as far as how healthy the levels that you're listening to your audio are, especially when it's something like noise canceling and it's really loud in your ears. It's very important to make sure that you're not damaging your ears over time. Now, the next tip is not really a tip, but it's more of just something that you should be aware of. And that's that if you take one AirPod Pro out, transparency mode turns on in the other. So if you've ever taken one AirPod Pro out and you notice it starts sounding different, that's because transparency mode gets turned on automatically. And once again, if you don't know what transparency mode is, make sure to watch my first things to do after getting the AirPods Pro video. I describe it a little bit more in that video. But anyways, if you want to change it from transparency mode to noise cancellation in just one headphone, you can actually do that inside of settings. If you go into settings and then go to accessibility and then scroll down to AirPods, you will see there's a little toggle down here that says noise cancellation with one AirPod. Allow AirPods to be put in noise cancellation mode when only one AirPod is in your ear. So if you would rather have that than the transparency mode, you actually have the option to turn that on. Now, I'm not too sure how many people would actually use this feature because it seems like a feature that's more meant for maybe deaf people or people that have hard hearing in one ear or something like that. But if you did want to switch from transparency mode to noise cancellation in one AirPod, you can do so in the settings menu. Now, also in this settings menu, you can see there are two other things you could change right here that can actually make a pretty big difference in how you interact with your AirPods Pro. So the first thing is the press speed. So you can have it at default, slow, or slowest. And it says adjust the speed required to press 2 or 3 times on your AirPod. So if you wanted to do it slower, if you didn't want to have to click 3 times super fast, you could slow it down by going to slow or slowest. That way you could do like tap, 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 instead of just like tap, tap, tap really fast. So you could change that right there. You can also change the press and hold durations. And the press and hold durations are, of course, when you want to switch from like transparency mode to noise cancellation. That's, an instance of where you would use the press to hold feature. And of course, I'm talking about on the stems here, how you interact via the gestures, which I'm assuming most of you guys already know about by now. If not, once again, I have a couple of videos that I made on the AirPods Pro that describes this pretty well. So I will have those linked in the description and also up in the cards up in the top right of this video. Now, the next tip is going to be very useful for those times when you just don't have easy access to your phone. Like if you're on a bike ride, if you're out jogging, if you're in the gym, if you're in your car, and that's going to be announce messages with Siri and announce call. So announce messages with Siri is a new feature in iOS 13. So if you go to your settings and go to notifications, you can also get to this from the Siri menu as well. You will see right there, announce messages with Siri. If you tap on that, it will describe basically how Siri will read out your messages to you. And if you want to reply, you can also reply to it with your voice. And you do also have the toggle down here to reply without confirmation. I keep that off just because I found that sometimes I do say things that may be typos or I forget to say something about punctuation. So I keep that off, but that is a feature here. And you can also have this set for, different people as well. So it may not be for everyone. You may not want to hear every single message you get, but only from your contacts or your favorites or your recents. You could do that. I have it set to contacts. I found that to be the most practical and the most useful for me. but you do have the option to change that as well. And if you go to the phone menu right here, you will see you have announce calls right there. And this is going to announce your phone calls just like it announced your text messages. So you can have it set for headphones only. So only when you have your headphones in, it's going to announce who is calling. You can have it set to headphones and car. So if you're hooked up to your car, it can say it when you're in the car as well, always or never. But obviously this is about the AirPods Pro, so headphones only is what I have turned on. And then you will be able to hear who's calling you without having to look at your phone, which again can be very handy if you're in a situation where you just can't get to your phone or you're not, wanting to be on your phone or anything like that. So announce messages with Siri and announce calls are very, very useful features that you need to utilize with the AirPods Pro. So before we get on to the sixth tip, here's a word from today's sponsor, Squarespace. Let me tell you a little bit more about Squarespace. So if you've ever built a website before, you know that it can be difficult and time consuming, and even after you've built it out, it may not look as professional as you would have liked it to be. And that's where Squarespace comes into the picture. So they have an all-in-one service that makes it so much easier to build a professional looking website without all of the tedious coding. And that's because they use a simple drag and drop system where you can customize each block to your liking. So you can add in your own code if you want, but it's not anything that's required. You also don't have to imagine what you want the website to look like from scratch because they have tons and tons of templates to choose from, and they all have a professional, clean look to them. So whether you want to start a blog, an online store, a portfolio to show off your photography or videography skills, or just a website to give yourself an online presence, which everybody should be doing in 2020, Squarespace has you covered with all of those templates. And it doesn't just end with website design either. They also have backend tools to make sure that your website thrives. So they have analytics tools to see, where your visitors are coming from and how long they spend on your site. They also have SEO tools to rank in Google. They have email marketing campaigns to send out targeted emails, and much, much more. It really is the best all-in-one solution out there right now, especially given the price. So if you want to create an awesome website today, head on over to squarespace.com/BrandonButch to enjoy a free trial and 10% off the purchase of a website or a domain. That of course will be linked down in the description below. The next tip is using Share Audio to share your audio with somebody nearby. So you know how back in the day you had the wired headphones and you'd have to have one headphone in your ear and you have to have the wire to somebody else in their ears? Well, now we're in 2020 pretty much, and we have AirPods, and you can have your AirPods in, both AirPods in, and you can have a friend with both their AirPods in, and you can be listening to the same thing at the same time with this new feature called Share Audio. So if you have your AirPods connected and you're playing a song, if you go ahead and tap right here, you will see Share Audio shows up right there. You can also get to this from the control center. If you just go ahead and 3D touch right here on this platter and then go ahead and tap on this button right here, you will see Share Audio. It says bring another pair of headphones or the iPhone or iPad they are connected to close to this iPhone. And this does also work for the Power Beats as well and anything with that W1 chip in it. So once again, this is a great feature if you just want to be able to share the audio that you're listening to, even if it's just one song. If you want somebody to hear this one song that maybe they don't have on their iPhone, you could do that really quickly with this feature and then just disconnect and you'll be good to go. The next tip is how to check your AirPods Pro firmware and also how to force update the firmware on your AirPods Pro. So to do this, you need your AirPods Pro connected to your device, of course. Then you want to go to Settings, General, About, and then you'll scroll down until you see your AirPods Pro name. Mine is just Brandon's AirPods Pro. Go ahead and tap on that. And from here, it will show your firmware version. You can see mine 2B588. And if you've seen that a new firmware update is out and you notice that your firmware is not up to date, you can actually force update your firmware by simply putting your AirPods Pro in their case, put them both in the case, make sure they're charging. Then you want to plug the case in so it's charging. The actual case is charging as well. And then pull up your phone and then just let it do it by itself. You have to let it do it automatically. There's no button on here or nothing that says a firmware update is available. It's just going to do it automatically, but that is a way to force them to update. And just to demonstrate what I mean as far as forcing the firmware to update, all you want to do is have your AirPods Pro in their case, plug the case in, and then just go ahead and open the case just like this so that they connect. And then once they do that and just sit right here, it should update the firmware. Just leave your phone, right there, and it should update the firmware if there is a new firmware update available. The next tip is to alternate which AirPod you put into your ear first to preserve the battery life, because you can see right there, the battery life on each individual AirPod Pro can be different at any given time. Now, if you go into your settings and go to Bluetooth and then tap on the I for your AirPods Pro, and then scroll down to the bottom for microphone, you want to make sure this is set to automatically switch AirPods. Because the reason that one AirPod may have lower battery life than the other is because one may be used for like a phone call. So maybe it's using the right AirPod for a phone call and not the left. but next time it's going to use the left instead of the right to try to keep the AirPods Pro at the same battery level, to try to keep each individual AirPod at the same battery level. But if you have this set to always left or always right, you're always going to notice how either the left or the right is going to be lower battery life than the other because it's always going to be using the microphone. So I know the AirPods Pro get amazing battery life and the case gets amazing battery life as well, but it's just something that I wanted to put out there. Now the next tip may be obvious to some people, but I didn't realize how many people didn't actually know that you can switch the audio source or force connect your AirPods Pro to play the music, the video, whatever you're playing on your iPhone. So I think we've all been there. You put in your AirPods Pro into your ears and you start playing something, but it's playing on like your iPhone instead of playing through the AirPods Pro. So to fix that, you could tap this little AirPlay icon down here if it's in music, or if you're not in music, you're somewhere else, just go to the control center and 3D touch right here, or haptic touch on that platter. And you'll see up here on the top right, you have the AirPlay icon. Go ahead and tap on that. And you can see right now, I have my AirPods Pro connected, but it's actually playing audio from my iPhone. It's actually playing audio to the iPhone instead of to the AirPods Pro. So to force the audio to go to my AirPods Pro, just go ahead and tap on the AirPods Pro right there, and then it will start sending audio to those instead of playing on like your iPhone or, you know, Bluetooth speaker, whatever it was playing on before. The next tip has to do with wireless charging in your AirPods Pro case. So if you go ahead and set your AirPods Pro case on the wireless charging mat right here, you will see a little green LED icon or an amber icon if it's currently charging, but after a few seconds that goes away and you're sitting there wondering, you know, is my case fully charged or not? Well, you can actually check this by tapping one time on the case, and you will see right there it shows the LED very quickly and then goes back out. So it's really a great little indicator to show you if your battery case is still charging or if it's fully charged, and you can take it off. So really cool that it is touch sensitive there on the AirPods Pro case. That was not the case with any other wireless charging case. You see what I did there? Anyways, the final tip, guys, is going to be cleaning the AirPods Pro. So this was something that I talked about and actually made a video on this for the original AirPods and the AirPods 2, but a great way to clean the AirPods is going to be with a toothpick and some other utensils that I mentioned in that video. However, if you're having an issue with not hearing in one of the AirPods Pro, and this is going to sound super weird, once again, it sounded weird when I made the video, but a way to fix an AirPods Pro if one ear is lower than the other is going to be to first take off the silicone tip right here, and then you're going to want to suck in on the AirPod itself. Yes, you're actually going to suck on the head of the AirPod Pro right here. And that, again, a lot of people just thought it was a joke and thought it didn't work, but that will actually solve your issue with not being able to hear out of one AirPod Pro, whether you can't hear at all or the sound is just muffled or lower than the other one. That is the solution to fix it. I'm being serious. So anyways, guys, those are 11 tips and tricks for the AirPods Pro. Hope you guys got them for Christmas, or maybe you've had them for a while. Whatever the case may be, I hope you did learn something new in this video. If you did, make sure to let me know down in a comment below. And of course, let me know with a big thumbs up on this video. I would really appreciate that. And of course, I'm sure I will find other tips and tricks for the AirPods Pro as I continue using these guys. So if you want to see those, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe button is down below. Make sure to hit that bell icon as well so you get notified when a new AirPods Pro video goes live on the channel. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.